What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we are going to take a look at SooSoo Toys The Bossman, and this has been long sold out. And keep in mind, this is a third-party figure, meaning it's unlicensed, but I needed this in my collection. And let's take a look at the packaging first. Packaging is a normal, like shoe type, box type style here. The Bossman. I'm surprised it's not as big as I thought it would be, because he is a heavier figure, and I thought it was gonna be taller slash bigger as well. But you'll be surprised when I put it on the comparison as far as height. But in here you get a whole array of stuff. First and foremost, the Bossman himself, looking pretty good, and right off the bat, I can see the yellowing of the lapel in this area, which I was expecting. This is a brand new figure that I got for a really good price as well. The price was $135. I locked out. I saw this in one of the forums, and I've been wanting him for a while now. So snagging him at $135 brand new is a really good deal. Now let's take a look at the fisted hands, all the things that came with it. He has some bloody knuckles as well, which is pretty cool. And the stand itself, the normal SooSoo Toys stand. I have a few of their figures. The green arrow and all that stuff kind of looks the same, with that diamond pattern of metal there, and then the crotch grabber. Now we are gonna take a look at some of his accessories. Take a look at mostly the hands here and everything. So they have bloody knuckles right off the bat. It's a nice touch, especially when you switch him over with the bloody outfit that he does have with his like battle damage head sculpt as well. So you can see here, he got some fisted hands, a cane holding hand, and some expressive kind of like grabbing fighting hands. Now moving forward here, he does have this cane that he does have. It has some gold trim on it with some diamond on the top, looking pretty good. The only thing that I would say is it's not as long as I wanted it to be, and it kind of reflects that rubber end, but it's not. But so, because when you have him holding it and he's not that articulated in both hands, it feels like it's not just a nice tight fit when he's holding it. And now you got the extra suit or extra vest and inner shirt that is bloodied, which is a very good touch. That they included this. They didn't have to. And also they included a battle damage head sculpt. Again, I'm happy just to have a Kingpin or the Bossman in my collection, but adding that is a great touch as well. And now you can see his stand. It does have that speckle of blood, and you see DD for Daredevil. He's not Daredevil, but from the show. Maybe it's Kingpin would have been more appropriate here, just to go with the theme. Now let's take a look at the tailoring. The tailoring looks pretty well done here. They used a satin fabric to emulate his look from season 3 of Daredevil. You see all over the place the yellowing part, the yellowish part right here, and that is because of the glue. I've seen this multiple times in the past, and not only because it's SooSoo. I've seen it from Hot Toys, from Enterbay, but they are older figures. I wish really they would stop using this glue. And I'm surprised it yellowed right off the bat from SooSoo, because it took years from my bank robber Joker to see that yellowing part. It took years from my Enterbay LeBron James, the Miami Heat version, for me to see the yellowing part. This figure is not even a year old, and yet I've seen reports right away that the yellowing of that glue has happened. So they should really avoid that moving forward and move more with the stitching. Moving up here, again, this is nicely fitted, kind of like reminiscing of today's suit. This is not like a suit from 2003 where they're baggy. You see LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony, rocking those. This is nicely suited, nicely fitted, just enough that it does have that nicely fit on them. And And going around here, it's nice. It really does nice. And his lapel, you do have that rose, kind of like the Godfather. A nice touch right there. He does. I didn't notice that pocket skirt in his pocket. And then the head sculpt. My goodness, this is probably the best head sculpt that I've seen from a third party, and it's on par with Hot Toys' best head sculpt as well. The shape of the head, I mean, look at all the pores that it comes with. It's on point. I can't say anything bad about this head sculpt. Nothing. The shape, the texture, the lines on his forehead to the side of his eye, the kind of like the pores on the back of his head, his ear. He does have that line, because it's sculpted anyway, but it's very faint that you can't even notice that. On the back of his head, you can see kind of like the folds because he doesn't have hair, and also, the follicles, and I don't know what you call that, like those little dots on his head. You can all see that as well. So it is very, very good, beautifully done, especially for a third-party company to come up with a head sculpt this strong is I think is phenomenal. It is really good. The lips, maybe that's the only one that you can be like, it could have been better, but I'm nitpicking at this point. And now, even if you add this lighting mood, it makes it a lot better as well, because if you do have that, it gives you that depth. Now, not only is this head sculpt really good, they even gave another head sculpt that is equally as good, but this time with battle damage on it, with some blood and all that stuff. And I noticed kind of like the eyes were a little bit darker on here, especially on the lower eye area. I don't know if that's meant to be like, like a shiner or some black eye or whatever, but I just noticed that it looks really good as well. The only thing, I guess, is that it could have been a different expression, but I'm not mad, because how many times have we received a separate head sculpt from Hot Toys? That normally does happen when it's a masked and unmasked head sculpt, but it's very rare, if never, you've seen the same head sculpt, for example, but one is just battle damage. You see a faceplate with Daredevil, but not a full-blown head sculpt that they just did that specifically with battle damage on it, So I am extremely happy with that and grateful that they did that as well, because they didn't have to, just Kingpin itself. I think is going to be enough for most collectors, but okay, let's talk about the articulation here. It is not that great. You can move up and down with the neck now, especially with his suit on. If there's padding in the middle there, but we're gonna lift the arm up ever so slowly, and as you can see here, there's not a whole lot of give in there. His elbows are single jointed. It's hard. It's already hard because of how big the body is, and it made it a bit harder because of the suit, basically. If you remove the jacket, you have a little bit more give, but the pants, this is the price that I was talking about earlier. Once you do have a well-fitted suit and it's not baggy, now you don't have much room for it to operate or move his arms and heads around. And again, the lapel area here, it is what it is. But yeah, this is what you're dealing with when it comes to Kingpin. Now, I removed the suit because I'm gonna change the clothes anyway. I was trying to so you know what, I was just like, let's show on the camera what you're actually working with here. Single jointed elbow. He does have a bicep swivel, so normally you can rotate the arms, but yes, the suit does restrict some movement. But even without the suit on, this is really tight. As you can see here, I'm still struggling to move it around. It's because of how big the body is, and just the joint itself is just really not that great. You can see the padding. It looks like he's pregnant there. Some torso movement. There are some paddings like on the side, so you can't really put the arms on the side of his body super close because of those paddings, like I don't know what you call them, fillers as well. Now the suit or inner shirt and the vest is connected via Velcro, as you can see here, so it's easy to you don't have this. I don't like those press studs that Hot Toys used to do, because they break. They do break on me. So just do Velcros a lot better, in my opinion. Put it out there. Now, downside of Velcro is it might yellow, because I'm pretty sure they used those nasty glue again. But just stitch it and you put it out here. These things are expensive, especially for SooSoo toys. That they don't even pay for the license. Come on, man. Put it on the quality of the figure. You're saving a whole lot on the licensing here. Then you put it down, and again, this is a whole lot better articulation wise, because at least the jacket of the suit is not impeding any movement. It's not bunching up, not doing any of those. So yeah, this is how it looks like, and that's pretty good. Let's do some poses before we wrap this thing up. This is him. He has no belt, by the way. Kingpin does not use belt. His belly is his belt. He looks great. This is most likely what's gonna be on my pose, where he's holding his cane. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I wish the cane was a little bit, just a tad bit longer, so it sits well, So here he is holding his cane, and hopefully, I wish there was like a proper hand holding that as well. Now, this pose took a lot of courage. Lift that arm up into that degree, and you might think that this is nothing, or nothing special, but for this figure to lift that elbow up in that angle, in that degree, is a scary proposition, because you feels like you're tugging and pulling all the stitching on the shoulder of his coat. That if you're gonna do this, you might as well remove the coat and have him look like this. When this one, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. You have more freedom of movement, and you can see from the back here, you see that stitching on the shoulders, on the inner shirt, it's kind of loose, so you do have more room to move around using his arms. His belly's still sticking out, as it should be, but in here, once I moved it, I don't know, for some reason I can't close the pants completely. So his pants is being held up by the zipper. It doesn't have a zipper. It's Velcro. But here he is, right next to Punisher from Hot Toys, and they look great together. I was expecting a larger size difference. I'm not gonna lie to you, because in the show, Kingpin was significantly taller than Punisher and Daredevil. But in here, he is, don't make no mistake about it, he is taller, but I don't think it captured what I saw on the screen. I was hoping that he'll be at least a few more, like maybe an inch taller. Okay, maybe that's too big, maybe half an inch taller. And here he is with Daredevil. Again, he is taller, don't make no mistake about it, but the size difference is not big enough, in my opinion. But they look great together. I love this Daredevil. When I take a picture of them, I am gonna switch out Daredevil's lower faceplate to the battle damage one, and I can think of so many scenes that I can put them together. I was gonna buy the blind vigilante, but it's not as appealing to me as much as the bossman is. But yeah, they look fantastic. If you are a big fan of this show, my final thoughts on this: he is the must-have. Why didn't I pick this up sooner? I didn't like the price initially. That's what kind of turned me off. I knew I wanted the figure. I love the show. The figure looks phenomenal. The accessories that it comes with, the swap out head sculpt, the alternate clothing, all of those appealed to me. But I think it was like $230 or $240 when it initially came out, shipped. And I was just like, you know what? I can buy a Hot Toys with that. And I just kind of got pushed aside. And when the opportunity arises, I was always on the lookout for this. In the aftermarket, I've seen him go as low as $150. And I tried multiple times, but I was low. Some people are snagging it for that price. And then finally it came about to $135, and it's brand new. So I messaged the seller right away, which is Daryl. Gave it to me, agreed on the price, and I'm happy. Now I do have a proper bossman in my collection. Now, would Hot Toys release one? I highly doubt it. And even if they did, it's gonna be hard to top this one with how good the head sculpt is. The only way they could do that is give him like maybe the black suit, and maybe a proper height adjustment and maybe more articulated. But even at that, this still has room in the collection because of how good this is. I don't think Hot Toys would give us a battle damage head sculpt. So I'm extremely happy he's finally in the collection. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.